Aloha. We are live from the floor of the Hawaii Tax Institute, and I'm privileged to have my colleague Alvina Lowe, who's our Chief Wealth Strategist based out of our New York City office. My name is Brian Ord, and I'm President of the Western Region of Wilmington Trust. We are fortunate to have a returning guest, Patrick Conley, who is the founder and CEO of Franklin Global, which is based out of Los Angeles, California, but has offices and resources throughout the United States. We have a very sensitive subject that we're talking to Patrick about this year, and it revolves around elder abuse with families and the situations that they have to deal with. Give us a sense of the scope of the level of fraud and how big of an impact is this on American families?
The fraud out there is amazingly high. It never ends. But what I find more disturbing is there's a lot of advisors, family members, caretakers, people who are close to our clients who are taking advantage of that relationship and who are then committing fraud. And sometimes that starts out of a sense of entitlement. I'm here taking care of this person. I've got the credit card to go buy groceries, and I'm going to buy myself my dinner. And the next time I'm going to buy myself some clothes. And then it escalates.
In those family situation or close situation where it's not a third party, what are some of the signs you would say to watch for?
The things that I try to advise people to look for is isolation. If a caretaker or a family member is trying to isolate the victim away from the rest of the family, that's kind of a red flag. Why? How much insight people have to the financials of a client. If you see money going places, try to ask the client if there's not a real logical explanation as to why that money is going where it's going. That's a red flag. The best thing I can tell people is to try to set things up in place ahead of time with the family, with the client, so that as the ability for our elderly citizens starts declining, they have a fiduciary in place for their trust. They have a bank account that's being audited by somebody else. They have someone who's reviewing their financials that they trust.
Sometimes my experience, and I'd love to hear yours too, is that it's better to have a third party who is objective. So have you found that to be your experience as well?
These can be very emotional situations. I have a family I've been dealing with for 3 years, and the patriarch of the family has continually declined in his ability to function. The family itself, is the 3 children are not on the same page on what should happen. When you start talking about money, even within families, you start having these issues. So if you can bring in an objective person who has a fiduciary control that can oversee that with the understanding of what the family dynamic is, then you have a really good success chance.
For those who might not have been thinking about this area and now realize that there might be a need for it, what are the top few things that you would recommend to get started?
The first thing is having an honest conversation with our clients. What is it that you have? What is it that you want? What's the lifestyle that you want? How do you see your future? So then we talk about setting up things to have checks and balances. Who has access to you and your family? Who has access to your financial records? What have you done to vet those individuals? And then procedurally set things up, even if it's just access to your home. If it's a key, make sure you know how many keys are issued. Try to have an access control system so we know who comes in and out of your house. Same thing when it comes to finances. Let's have a good system in place to review the monthly transactions. So the challenging conversation is to have a candid discussion, even if they don't want to hear it. You say, look, what do you want to do in the event that you can't make decisions? And that's the hardest thing for advisors and anybody with these fiercely independent individuals. If you can get past that, you're going to have success.